Okay, I've talked about novels, I've talked about anthologies. Can't just go back to novels though. Gotta make this episode unique somehow. Outside of just furries. Oh! That's right! We have awards! I brought this up briefly, but like how the science fiction and fantasy writers of America is made to celebrate their genres, furry writers have come together to form the Furry Writers Guild for the same purpose, to celebrate, develop, and award furry writing. As much as I've shown my distaste for awards, they do serve a purpose of showing those outside what they consider are the best works produced in their medium. What are the best movies I should see? What are the best songs I should listen? I want to get into fantasy. What should I read? Cause nothing says a work is truly great till it has a shiny paperweight next to it. My own biases aside, the fandom has two main awards, the Ursas and the Kyoto Awards. The Ursas are more focused on all general media in the fandom, best movie, best show, book, website, etc., and is determined by public votes. The Kyotos, on the other hand, are exclusive to furry writing and only voted on by members of the Furry Writers Guild. As they put it, this is our nebula to Ursa's Hugos. Since 2011, they've been looking at the best novels, novellas, short stories, and anthologies, and I even already reviewed one, God of Clay. But today, we are going to be looking at the most recent winner for Best Novel from 2014, and see what it is that made the guild say, this is the best. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, my name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to Bookworm Reviews. Sit back and relax as we dive into Off the Beaten Path, Book 1 of... I don't know, this doesn't have a series title. By Rukis. Okay, book. Show me what you got. You think you can impress me because you won a coyote? Please. That only means I get to critique you harder. Well? Come on. What makes you so special? When I turned 13 years of age, the village elders told me I had become a woman. When I turned 14 years of age, my mother told me I had become a burden. When I turned 15 years of age, my father told me I had become a wife. Ask and you shall receive. This is unknown, and I'm calling her that because for the first half of the book, she doesn't have a name. For good reason. A young bobcat sold off to a neighboring tribe to marry another man twice her age. Unknown's life is nothing but pain and misery, all cause of Methau, the honored warrior of the tribe, using Unknown as a means to produce an heir, something his previous wives were unable to do, and she just takes it. All the abuse, cause what else is she supposed to do? She's only a woman. But after years, she finally gives birth to a son. The birth of her son brings great joy into her life, but it is soon discovered her son is blind, and Methau doesn't approve. No child of an honored warrior would be born with a shroud drawn over their eyes. I therefore have surely shamed him. I have betrayed him. My son was the son of another. These were the accusations he made, first to me, then to the chief and the shaman. And they believed him. Which is why they take Unknown's blind son away to be abandoned in the woods for nature to take its course, all while she gets stoned to death for forsaking Methau's honor. Damn, that's cold! And also short. That can't be all the story is about. And you're right. And things are about to get weird. After being stoned to death, Unknown's spirit still rages on, for a need to bring justice to Methau. Why? What of my husband's next wife? Would she also be sold to him for dry goods and pack animals? Would she also spend lonely, desperate nights away from her family and everything she knew, only to be hurt and violated by him whenever he willed? Wouldn't he blame another woman when he couldn't produce an heir? And would he kill her? And that rage brings the attention of Crow, basically one of her tribe's gods, and the two make a deal. Be reborn and live for your anger. I shall give you the breath of new life, and in return, you shall become a part of my body. We will burn together for all eternity, you and I, but you will be avenged. And she comes back to life. Yes, this is basically the Crow female kitty edition. Meow. But when she awakes, Unknown finds herself in the company of two strange companions. The coyote Ransom, who is a disgusting man with no interest in Unknown outside of her female body, and Puck, a blind Arctic fox who helped heal her when they came across her body. Unknown lets Puck heal her and starts to ask Puck why someone so nice like him is with someone so... Ransom. I've known Ransom for some years now, and he isn't the man he puts on. It's mostly a lot of blustering and posturing. He's had a difficult life, and it hasn't shaped him in the best ways. He's a good man beneath it all. Huh. Well, they do say to never judge a book by its cover. You bitches done primping? Truly you are a deep and tortured soul. Once her body is healed, she tells them what tribe she comes from. But the Anushkin raided the Katoshin a few weeks back, a little after we found you actually, Ransom said, blowing a smoky sigh. The two tribes went to war. Way I heard it, they wiped each other out. Everything Unknown has known is gone, but when she sees her former tribe, they find a survivor who reveals Methow betrayed everyone to join up with a man named Rourke, and with his raiders, they destroyed both tribes. Unknown's goal is still the same, but now she must face off against men who, as Ransom describes, they're demons, plain and simple. I don't know what went wrong in Rourke's head, but a few years ago, they started torturing tribes and town alike. Word is, they were under hire most times, but I don't know if that's true. They're just murderers so far as I'm concerned. Thieves and murderers. But that will not stop her, and with the only weapon left intact from her tribe, a bow, she vows to enact justice on the man whose life brings nothing but pain and suffering to those he meets. And yes, the cat character's main weapon is a bow. Katniss, the female crow. Meow. And that's just the basic plot of Off the Beaten Path, and... holy shit, it's not hard to see why this won the Coyote. There is a lot that happens in the book, and I mean a lot, which is one of the big appeals with the story, mainly how it explores several cultural injustices. The big one, of course, is Unknown gaining her independence as a woman over the injustice of being reduced to property. Over the years, I slowly learned discipline, secured firmly into my proper role when I finally came under Methow's power. He had ultimately tamed the last scraps of what I once been, and made me into the woman my parents had always wanted me to be. The right and proper Katuk woman. It had never felt natural, but I learned to accept it. I hadn't any other choice after all. And as you read, you see the book is set around 1800s America. Well, okay, it's not actually called that in the book. Ruckus actually built up an entire new society, but the parallels are clear as day, which looks at the injustice of native lives being forced into other wolves' way of life, and how some are willing to let them. They're inheriting the world, sweetheart. I've adapted. Ransom sniffed, his eyes following the distant ridge of the mountain again. Any tribe who don't is going to find themselves dying out before long. They live on top of us now, whether we like it or not. Why am I not surprised you're okay with it? To be perfectly honest, he's my favorite character in the book. Honestly, the main three are all great, mainly with how they interact with each other. The book is at its best when you see all three bounce off each other with their completely different personalities and views, especially with Ransom, who gets some of the best lines in the book. But it is also their history. As Unknown hangs out with them more, she starts to see the cracks in Ransom and Puck that shows us that they are just as broken as she is. Whether it's a healer who doesn't believe in the gods, or a man desperate to hunt and kill a legend that may not even exist. And then there are the mysteries of Rourke and his men killing off entire towns, while Unknown begins to wonder if her visions of Crow was a dream, and more injustices that look at race and class, and discovering secrets within secrets, and... I did say there is a lot in this book, right? But there are some flaws, mainly with the first-person narration of Unknown. It's not bad. Many times it works, as it should, to give us insight into what Unknown is feeling. But there were times it felt like several insights were constantly repeated, even though we know her history. Yes, we know you lost your land. Yes, we know you were mistreated. Yes, we know you missed your son. You've said it a dozen times now. And it can drag the story down a lot. Another is that the ending is not really an ending. Ruckus's original story was deemed too long for Fur Planet to publish, so they cut it up into a trilogy. And it shows. Where they chose to end it is not a bad place. It sets up the stakes and tone for the next volume. But it didn't feel like a natural end. You don't feel satisfied. Character arcs are just left hanging, and you are just left adrift, forced to wait till you can get the next book. While we learned a lot, and a lot is left in the shadows for future books, the ending will only make you desperate to find the next volume ASAP, cause... God damn did Ruckus do a good job. So yes, this book does deserve its award, and it's one of the most unique stories I've read in the fandom. It's a Western story using talking animals. That's amazing! I recommend it because Ruckus is able to build a world, characters, and a story that grabs hold of you and is near impossible for you to put down. A highlight in furry literature. What about you, Internet? What's your opinion about Off the Beaten Path? If you have a book you would like me to review, let me know in the comments below. Next week, we will conclude our month with furries, but not with a fandom book. Instead, we are going to be looking at the story that got me into anthropomorphic animals. Till next time, have a nice day.
There ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees.